Tonight on To The Point, the state likely changing electric bills again.
The PUC is going to impose a fixed rate depending on your income.
But will this help or hurt your monthly bill? Why, it depends on who you ask. Plus, pro-Palestinian protesters and Sacramento State reaching an agreement, what the university will do with future funding. We go inside a big vote tonight over the Sacramento Zoo and its move to Elk Grove.
Wind advisory remains in effect. We'll take a look at the peak gusts so far and what's ahead tonight.
And celebrating Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, how Stockton's played a role in spreading Sikhism in the U.S. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for To The Point. I'm Alex Bell. Tonight, Sacramento State student protesters for Palestine are calling it a win. The university confirms they have agreed to divest from Israel and entities supporting the war. ABC 10's Devin Truby explains what this means moving forward.
Yeah, Alex, one of the biggest questions is the encampment staying or going? And while the student organizers didn't give an official comment, I want you to take a look at the cleanup that is underway as the students invited us in to take a look at the community that's been created as the questions remain: when and how will divestment begin?
I believe that we just won! I believe that we just won!
On the 8th day, protesters at Sac State for Gaza switched their chants from "I believe we will win" to "we won."
Full divestment from any entities complicit with genocide, ethnic cleansing, or human rights violations.
On Tuesday evening, university leaders say they reached a resolution creating a policy on, quote, socially responsible investment, adding, "We believe it's important that our efforts to fund students' education to not rely upon us benefiting from companies that profit from ethnic cleansing, genocide, or human rights violations."
Thank Luke Wood for not following suit after other administrations and not calling Sacramento police and carcerally punishing the students of Sacramento State.
Students say they were told the university has no direct investments, but will be dumping $4.5 million in indirect investments. ABC 10 spoke with Michael Malloy, a law professor at the University of the Pacific, who says this reminds him of calls to divest during the Vietnam War. He explained these investments could be stocks, bonds, equities, and other securities. And while they can be ended quickly, the board has a fiduciary responsibility to do what's financially best for the institution.
They could get a much better return for the institution they represent just by waiting. Then it may theoretically be a breach of their fiduciary duty to just dump this stuff.
Protesters say Faculty for Justice for Palestine will be given a seat on the university's finance committee and also checking quarterly and annual reports to ensure accountability.
But you are welcome to take some film and some B-roll inside the encampment.
On Wednesday, students opened the gates to what they call Gaza Plaza, revealing the extensiveness of their encampment. 3 rows of tents deep, portable sinks, saying this is just one of 23 campuses. All need to divest, and a message to the chancellor.
Be afraid. We want to emphasize once again, we will corner the chancellor.
Yes!
If this is possible on one campus, we've raised the bar nationwide, internationally. And so again, a message to all students, don't ask for anything less.
Student organizers say all the supplies are going to the UC Davis campus to help them continue their fight, or will be donated to people experiencing homelessness. As for the remaining financial contributions, those will be going to other CSU campuses to assist them. Reporting from the Sac State University, I'm Devin Truby, ABC 10.
In other news tonight, 2 people are dead after a house caught on fire in South Sacramento. Sacramento Fire says when crews arrived just before 11 this morning, heavy smoke was coming out of the front and back of the home. One person was found dead inside the home. The other person died at the hospital. Neighbors we spoke to were completely shocked.
I saw, fire trucks and some cops go by. I was, a little worried. I kind of looked out a little bit. It was scary, for everyone in the neighborhood.
Sacramento Fire says 7 people lived at the home, and the Red Cross are helping those who are now displaced. Tonight, Stockton police are searching for shooting suspects after 2 teens were shot. It happened on Monday around 2 in the afternoon near Manthe Road and Carroll and Weston Boulevard. Investigators say 2 cars drove up to 2 teens, an 18-year-old and a 16-year-old, and shot them before taking off. The cars were described as a white sedan and a black SUV, and anyone with information on this shooting is asked to call Stockton police. Tonight, the Sacramento City Unified School District is telling families to prepare to head back to school earlier for the next 2 years. So 8 additional instruction days are being added to the academic calendars through 2026. The first day of school is August 19th, and this is due to recent teacher strikes. The district says by doing this, they will be able to reinvest about $39 million instead of paying that in penalties to the state. And do you get your electricity from PG&E? Well, if you do, make sure you listen up to this next story, because California regulators are about to make a decision on an important change. And whether it will raise or lower your monthly bill depends on who you ask. ABC 10's Becca Habegger explains.
The California Public Utilities Commission, or CPUC, is the state's regulator of privately owned utilities. Those include PG&E, which provides power to millions of people stretching from Santa Barbara County up to Humboldt County, with publicly owned carve-outs like SMUD in Sacramento and Roseville Electric, which are not regulated by the CPUC. On Thursday, the CPUC will vote on a proposal that would change how privately owned electric utilities like PG&E can bill their customers. Beginning in late 2025, this proposal would allow utilities to charge residential customers a fixed monthly rate based on income. For most people, it would be about $24 per month. For lower income customers, they could be charged up to $12 a month. In a statement to ABC 10, a CPUC spokesperson said this is not a new fee. It simply reallocates how electricity costs are paid for on bills, adding the usage rate in turn will be cut by 5 to 7 cents per kilowatt hour.
I think there's a misconception that this will be contributing to the rate increases, and that's incorrect. It's just a bill restructuring.
Sylvie Ashford is an analyst at the Utility Reform Network, or TURN, a consumer advocacy organization which often fights PG&E rate increases. In this case, they're in favor of the change.
The proposal at the CPUC is a step in the right direction that will make electricity bills more affordable for low-income households, reduce bill volatility, and promote beneficial electrification. But much more needs to be done to keep California's skyrocketing rates in check.
She says even with paying the proposed $24 per month, the average customer will see their monthly bill increase just $1.50 to $3. Low-income customers are projected to see their bill decrease on average $4 to $9 per month.
Most Californians who live in PG&E territory are going to have a bill increase.
But Loretta Lynch, former CPUC president, says she believes the discount on electricity rate won't offset the fixed charge of $24 per month.
$290 more per year for a small discount on the price of electricity. And who does that benefit? It benefits really large users, people with swimming pools and saunas and EVs and heat pumps, but seniors and apartment dwellers, small family houses, and those who already conserve, they're going to pay much more.
What's to say that in the future they're not going to just continue to raise the rate because they have the power?
Senator Brian Daly is with the Senate Republican caucus, which published a letter this week opposing the fixed charge proposal. He points out the CPUC's members are appointed by the governor, and he'd rather see a change like this come from state lawmakers.
All right, bringing in Becca now, who's been following this for us. We know that we got here because of a bill that lawmakers passed back in 2022, right?
Yeah, Alex, it was called AB 205, and it ordered the CPUC to implement a fixed charge for its largest electric utilities. That includes PG&E, SoCal Edison, and San Diego Gas and Electric, but not utilities like SMUD and Roseville Electric. You know, this comes on the heels of other rate hikes. The CPUC recently approved PG&E hikes amounting to a roughly $400 annual increase for the average household. That's another reason why some are skeptical about this proposed change, Alex.
Yeah, and that's in addition to concerns that we've reported on about the state, if it is actually holding PG&E accountable. And Becca, we know that electric customers are honestly already struggling, right?
Yeah, that's definitely a fair statement. And, you know, it's worth pointing out California, though, is one of the only states that doesn't have something like this fixed rate that the CPUC is voting on. And by the way, their meeting is being held in person tomorrow in downtown Sacramento, and I'll be there covering it and bringing you the updates.
Yep, we'll have the latest details. All right, Becca, thank you so much. We appreciate it. All right, still ahead onto the point, moving the Sacramento Zoo to Elk Grove. We are live with the big vote that's underway tonight.
It's going to be a breezy evening. Wind advisory still in effect. What we can expect tonight and through the end of the week.
And as we celebrate Asian, American, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, we take you to one of the First Nations Sikh temples. Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods with our forecast. I think we can all agree the headline today was wind.
Yeah, it was almost dangerous to be outside, especially if you were in a very heavily wooded area with all the tree debris floating around. We had power outages periodically throughout the day. Now, the wind advisory actually continues through tonight and early tomorrow through the valley until 8 a.m. For the foothills, we'll continue that until 11 o'clock in the morning with wind gusts there up to about 65 miles per hour. Peak gusts for today, 30 to 45 plus miles per hour throughout the valley, foothills, and Sierra. We're going to see a bigger pulse of those winds coming through tonight into early tomorrow. Current sustained winds are still at 15 to 25 miles per hour. There's a lot blowing around out there, I know, especially driving around some of those trucks and buses. It can kind of be shaken a little bit there. Highs for today right around 80 degrees in the valley, 70s for the foothills and along the coast, and near 50 for the Sierra. Tonight we continue with those winds through at least 8 o'clock. Temperatures will hold fairly steady. Those winds tend to keep that warmer air closer to the surface. So in terms of our temperatures, it starts off quite mild tomorrow morning, but the winds are still with us overnight tonight through early tomorrow. That's how we get the day started with the morning commute. And again, we see a bigger pulse of those winds developing for the foothills and Sierra early tomorrow. Everything starts to wind down for tomorrow afternoon into Friday as we start to see this weather pattern shift ever so slightly. We'll be under that ridge of high pressure, and that'll bring the heat. It brings sinking, warming air and our first 90s of the year. Highs in the 60s tomorrow for the Sierra with 70s and 80s through the foothills. We're in the 80s along the coast and almost to 90 tomorrow afternoon for some valley locations. Our 5-day regional forecast is going to be warm in the mountains this weekend. No snow expected for the high country. 10-day forecast takes us through the Mother's Day weekend and beyond with highs in the 80s to near 90.
Next on To The Point, the future of the Sacramento Zoo. We are live with the big vote that's underway tonight. Plus, how Stockton's played a role in spreading Sikhism in the U.S. Welcome back. You're taking a live look at the Elk Grove City Council meeting. Council members are set to talk about moving the Sacramento Zoo to a larger location in Elk Grove. And right now, the zoo sits on almost 15 acres at William Land Park. And the new plan would expand the zoo to 65 acres with new enclosures and, of course, facilities. The new location will be near Kramer Road and Lots Parkway. People against the zoo are worried about the traffic it will bring to the area, among other things. If the project is approved tonight, the city of Elk Grove will move forward with construction. We will have a crew at the meeting and, of course, bring you an update tonight on Late News Tonight at 11. ABC 10 is celebrating Asian, American, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and the course of history for one religion was forever changed thanks to one of the oldest buildings in San Joaquin County. The Sikh temple in South Stockton was home to an important wave of activism that helped free the people of Punjab, India from British rule. And tonight, ABC 10's John Bartel is taking us inside this historic building.
During the second week in April, the streets of Stockton filled with vibrant colors and the aroma of South Asian food. This is Vaisakhi, one of the biggest Sikh celebrations in California.
And right now we have Sikhs from across the world who came here to gather and celebrate this event.
The event honors the spiritual leaders who unified the Sikhs more than 500 years ago and formalized the faith, which focuses on equality of all humankind.
People came here to celebrate community, celebrate equality, celebrate love.
Sikhism started as a small faith in Punjab, India, with a heavy emphasis on social justice. But today, it's one of the largest religions found all over the world. And one reason it's so large in the United States has a lot to do with this building in Stockton, founded by Punjabi immigrants and farmers from the Central Valley.
Yeah, this is the first Gurdwara, the first building for Sikhs in the United States.
The Stockton Gurdwara became the site of activism. Sikhs in California met in this building and strategized how to protect and empower their home state of Punjab.
And this is the old first Gurdwara that was built in 1915, and this is a California historical landmark now.
Tejpal Singh Benual and Manjeet Singh Opal with the Gurdwara say this building is more than just a place of worship. It's a community center, an educational institution, and a museum. But more importantly, this building was part of the largest independent movement for Sikhs in India.
History's greatest exodus.
It started here, and they went back and fought. Over 5,000 people went back and fought for independent India.
For more than 200 years, British colonialism ruled over much of India by controlling politics, land, and resources. Sikhs in Punjab were different, though. The British needed them to fight in their military.
And they knew they were warriors, they were fighters, and British needed soldiers.
Many Sikhs left Punjab in the late 1800s in search of a better life, and some of those Sikhs ended up in Stockton.
Arbitration of India's political problems still remains unsolved.
A lot of these were laborers working on lumber mills, railroads, working the fields.
Sikhs were not always treated kindly in California. At the time, a series of discriminatory laws were in the process of being enacted, which targeted Asian immigrants, including Sikhs.
8 or 9 months after they purchased this land in South Stockton, California passed the Alien Land Law Act, which then prohibited Asians from owning land. So they beat it by a few months.
Sikh farmers and laborers across California donated time and money to build the Stockton Gurdwara, which opened in 1912. But over in India, a revolution was starting. Sikhs wanted to become independent of British rule.
When they came to America, that's when they realized what freedom is, what our Guru was teaching us, what the freedom looks like.
The Stockton Gurdwara became a site of activism. Sikhs in California met in this building and strategized how to protect and empower their home state in Punjab.
Respected speakers from across the world will come here and talk about freedom and talk about sovereignty.
Activism at the Stockton Gurdwara significantly helped Sikhs and ultimately India gain independence from British rule in 1947. But that independence didn't make life easier for Sikhs in the United States.
I believe the most recent FBI report showed that Sikhs are amongst the top targeted religious community in the U.S.
Before and especially after the terrorist attacks on 9/11, the Sikh community has been confused with terrorist groups because they covered their heads or wore turbans.
When Iran crisis happened during Jimmy Carter year, we were Iranians. Then Iraq happened, we're Iraqis. When Afghan happened, we're Afghan. So we're kind of transcended to everything,
Sikhs have been fighting discrimination and racism since the religion was formed in the 15th century. And one way they fight back is by taking the time to learn.
Sikhs ultimately translates to student, and it derives from the word sikhna, which means to learn. So Sikhs are just learners of life.
One reason Sikhs wear the head coverings or turbans is to signify equality. And the Sikhs believe if everyone is equal, it is easier to break bread together and talk about those differences.
Yeah, so this is the Langar Hall, the community kitchen as we mentioned, and this is where we pass out langar or food to the community.
That's why every day the Stockton Gurdwara welcomes the community to a free dinner. It's a chance for everyone to learn about Sikhism and for Sikhs to learn about their neighbors as equals.
Doesn't matter if they're a doctor, if they're a laborer, agricultural worker, again, a teacher. Everyone comes together and sits at a common ground and breaks the same meal together.
The Stockton Gurdwara is more than a building. It represents history and freedom for the Sikh community.
Just sitting here and thinking about that and the same conversations, just to be a fly on the wall in this room 100 years ago gives me goosebumps even to this day.
From the Gurdwara in Stockton, I'm John Bartel.
So much culture and history right in our own community. This is exactly why we love telling your stories. We'll be right back after this short break with what we're working on for tomorrow. ABC 10 has spent over a year following leads, talking to whistleblowers, and uncovering potential conflicts of interest, questionable fiscal practices, and allegations of altering attendance records for financial gain at Highlands Community Charter and Technical Schools. Tomorrow, we have more to bring you. Just days ago, our investigation was cited as the catalyst of a state audit. And starting tomorrow, we will show you more of what investigative reporter Andy Judson has uncovered. Andy will join us right here tomorrow and Friday at 6:30 p.m. on To The Point. As always, thank you so much for spending part of your day with us. We love, love, love telling your stories and getting to meet you. So if you have something you think we should be looking into, please, please, please reach out to me and the team. Remember, strangers are people we just haven't gotten a chance to meet yet. So take the time to get to know someone. Have a great night. Hey, it's Alex. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. The To The Point team and I love hearing from you, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. And don't forget, you can always email me and the team at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send us a text message at 916-321-3310.